Runners, the Maffetone method has a major problem, and today I'm going to tell you all about it, and it's something that you do not want to hear, but it's something that you need to know. Hey, I'm David, I'm the plant-powered runner, and I've been using the Maffetone method on and off for the last 3 years. And over that time, I've had a lot of success. I went from running like an 8:34 pace to a 5:34 pace in a year. And that's pretty amazing. However, I regressed a lot too after I got injured. And it's been a little bit of a struggle to kind of come back from that. I'm in between fitness and I'm in between fat. And it's not something I'm proud of, but I'm gonna share with you 5 things today that really all you guys need to pay attention to if you're using heart rate training, aka the Maffetone method, during your runs. But first, I need to go find this elusive waterfall that I've been trying to track down for the last little while. I'm gonna show you how amazing this place is. And during that journey, I will share with you these 5 things that are quite shocking, quite surprising to some of you. Maybe not all of you, but to some of you who have started using the Maffetone method or has kind of fallen out of favor of using this method. And I'm gonna say I'm kind of like one of those guys, I'm in that camp, I'm kind of in that middle. And herein lies our first issue with the Maffetone method. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily a problem with the method or if it's a problem with me, the runner. You see, I'm a realtor and I am always on the road with clients, whether they're buying or whether they're selling. I'm a very social individual and I like to connect with people by breaking bread, so to speak. And sometimes by breaking bread, I mean by going for a cup of coffee or an espresso or going to a bakery, having a cookie or whatever it is. And look, you all know that I am technically like vegetarian, vegan, I'm powered by plants basically. The problem is when I go to places that aren't, it affects my guts pretty bad. And so I do my best not to kind of fall into that category of consuming things that really kind of hurt my guts, hurt me as an individual. If I meet with one client, I'm having a cup of coffee. The problem is I get sugar in these things. And that's a lot of caffeine, it's a lot of sugar, and that's just in one, okay? Now, when I'm out and about, I don't normally just go for 1 cup of coffee. Sometimes I will go and I'll get a box of Timbits to share with clients. Sometimes I'll go for a bagel. Sometimes I'll go to the grocery store and get a box of granola bars that really are not that good for me. And I did this experiment to kind of prove a point. A lot of sugar in things that people think are good for us. That's a healthier option for us. But these things have a lot of sugar in them. Now, I'm not saying that, having a bagel is a good thing or a bad thing, or having a granola bar or Timbits or whatever your vice is. What I am saying, however, is if you consume a lot of these products, a lot of sugar, a lot of refined carbohydrates that really are not that good for us. And I'm not talking about the vegetables. The vegetables are the healthy things that we should be consuming, like the leafy greens and the, tomatoes and the beans and, carrots and cucumbers and lettuce and spinach and cauliflower and avocados and all those good things, right? That's what we should be eating as whole food. So when I consume these products, it is a detrimental effect to my mental health and to my physical well-being, and my guts are a mess. Now, when this happens, I will go out for a run the following day and I will suffer. I will suffer through my run. What I'm about to say may change the way that you run. It may change the way that you think about running. And for me, I'm trying to figure out all of the components that cause my running to just suck. When you train using a heart rate, it changes from day to day to day. However, when you have 2 days that are the same and you've got a nice rest in between and you get a totally different result, I'm looking for the reasons why. And I think today I figured one of them out. and I will notice that my heart rate is way higher than it should be. I did this experiment to prove my point to myself. So for 2 days, I did this. And on each one of my runs, it was horrendous. It was not a good thing to do. So by consuming a lot of this junk, I call it junk. You guys may not call it junk, but I call it junk because really it's things I shouldn't be having anyways. But again, you're put in that social environment and peer pressure sometimes gets in the way, or sometimes I'm trying to be, you know, a good guy by, you know, connecting with my clients and buying them a cup of coffee and, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, sometimes it's hard to find something healthy in some of these small towns that I go to. And sometimes Tim Hortons is the only place to go. So this experiment kind of took me on a wild ride. And this is the profound takeaway from this is watch what you eat, because carbohydrates, the bad stuff, like the bad ones, right? The simple ones, will cause you problem. This is my problem to solve. And I'm working through it, trying to get better. I'm getting black coffee now with no sugar in it and staying away from all the donuts and the other things that you can get when you're in these places, right? It's a hard thing to do. It's a lot of willpower. So I kept the boxes to be transparent and show you that, yeah, like this is real. I mean, you know, these are a 10 pack of Timbits that we get at Tim Hortons, and it's just a small little donut, right? It's like the little hole of the donut that, anyways, but it's a pack of 10. I don't know, think of like 90 calories per little tiny Timbit. That's a lot of calories if you're just popping them and eating them as you drive, right? If you're with clients, a little bit of a different story. You can share it, right? You can share in the bliss or share in the misery, whichever one comes first. This goes without saying. When you're running and the temperatures are through the roof, like it's soaring in so many places in the world, like hottest year on record. But the thing is maybe this isn't a Maffetone method per se, but the problem with like the heart rate training is, man, when it gets so hot, it's like hard to even run. Like if you've been running for a long time and you've got a good base, yeah, you got nothing to worry about. If you're somebody who's just trying to start running, man, it can be so frustrating because you could finally get to the point where you've been building a base for so many months, and then all of a sudden you're like, I can't even run. And even walking sets my heart rate through the roof. And that sucks. It really does. Just knowing that weather has such a massive impact on your heart rate, there's not much you can do about it other than running on a treadmill inside. That's really the only thing you can do. Or if you have to run outside, look, you gotta run where you can, when you can. But if you can get out in the wee hours of the morning or really kind of late at night after the sun's gone down or the sun's come up, that's probably gonna be one of your best bets. Because using this method, even in Texas or Florida, California, God, even on Ontario, Canada, man, it's flipping hard. And to keep your motivation up, specifically when maybe you've just started using this method and you're like, this doesn't even work. How is this even possible? It's the weather, guys. It's the weather. And speaking about weather, yeah, we got a thunderstorm coming in. So I kind of have to hightail it to the next place I gotta go. If you guys like these videos, give it a like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends, because that would be the most amazing thing if you could. So I'm just gonna say this as it is. I'm an overweight runner, but to somebody who's even heavier than I am, they would consider me not to be overweight. So whenever I see Dr. Phil Maffetone talk about in his notes and on his website to say that, you know, if you are over fat, you have to reduce your beats that you're allowed to run, like by 10 or by 5. Like, what does that mean? Everyone's different. And so I struggle with that. Now I've used the Kavarman method to come up with where my heart rate is for zone 2. So using the Maffetone method, yeah, it's all individually based. And that's sometimes very hard for runners, specifically if you're just starting out running, to figure out, right? If you're overweight, what does that mean, right? Everyone's gonna be different. And I don't know how to answer that. Man, the rain's coming in now, so hopefully I'll find the path to this waterfall that I'm going to look at. Hopefully it's gonna be okay. Anyways, it's raining, thunderstorms here. Well, there goes the hail. Oh shit! Fuck! I can't even see. What the hell? Damn! This just sucked. Ouch! My poor car. Man. Man, I just pulled in under this little bit of shelter. Man, I just didn't want my car to get smashed up with all the hail. My gosh, and I'm so close to the waterfall. Like, I just don't want to have to turn around. Temperature dropped 11 degrees. Oh my God. A short few minutes later, I ended up getting through the crazy insanity of the weather and made my way into Owen Sound. But there, as you can see, once again, is another Tim Hortons. They seem to be everywhere in Canada. Well, then again, it is a Canadian company, which got sold off to somebody else. The one thing I find really challenging using the Maffetone method, specifically when you're starting out, is the amount that you need to run to be able to see the benefits. Look, it's no secret. I have trained a lot using this method, and I've had to train upwards to 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours to see some really amazing results. That's just the way it is. But the thing is most people don't have that much time. They can't spend that much time away from their family, away from work, away from other things that are going on in their life. And they're just like, you know what, I only can train for 40 minutes or half an hour or whatever it is. And unfortunately, to build a strong aerobic base, that isn't gonna cut it. And I know this because I have trained using those large volume, and I've also seen my results when I don't train using that volume. Like, if I cut it in half to see the results, it can be very disheartening. And for anyone starting out or even coming back off an injury, it can be frustrating. Like, don't get me wrong, like, everyone is different. You're gonna see different results, but that's one of the things that I've seen, and I wanted you to know as a runner that it's gonna take some time for you to see the benefits, the results, and you'll have to train for a while. But then again, everyone is different. Everyone, whose body is different. So everyone's circumstance is gonna be different. So again, this is the problem, is it's so individualized. Everyone is different, and it's hard to kind of give everybody, a standard case result of, look, this is what's gonna happen if you run this way. Look, it works. Don't get me wrong, it works. But for others, not so much. This is a big one for me, specifically me. Or if you're anything like me and you're a trail runner, how on earth are you ever going to improve using the Maffetone method when you can barely walk up a hill, let alone run? Like, tell me, how is that even going to happen for you? The only piece of advice that I have for you if you're a trail runner is run the flats, run the downs. Control what you can control and allow the rest to just go out your ears, because there's no point in being frustrated about it. It is what it is. And specifically, maybe if you're running on the roads and you live in a hilly area and that's gonna get you down as well. It's so frustrating when you're trying to run and you wanna run. Like, let's say you're a beginner and you've just started out and you wanna run. This whole heart rate training, look, maybe you just throw it off to the side and say, look, I'm just gonna run by feel. That's all I'm gonna do. And in that case, it's probably maybe a good way to start off until you have some sort of a foundation, some sort of knowing what the heck you're doing. Otherwise, you're literally gonna be walking in, hiking for quite a while to see the results. It's frustrating even just talking about it because I know how amazing it works, but when it doesn't work, it's even worse because you look at it and go, yeah, I've seen it work and it's been amazing. And then you look at it and go the second time around and you're like, heck, it's not working now. What's going on? And that's where all of these points that I'm talking about in today's video come together, because it's not just one thing that sets you up for success. It's a combination of all of the pillars, right? There's a bunch of things I didn't even get into in today's video because, I mean, I could be here forever talking about all these different things. I'll have to save that for another video. Here's the waterfalls. Oh, damn, that's far down. I have to figure out how to get down there because it's so awesome. Boulder Alley, holy crap. It's a long way down, guys. We're gonna go down. Wow. Man, look at this. Wow. Holy crap. That's where I came from. It's a big overhang. The one thing I will tell you is if you run slow for long enough and you give it the time of day and you actually put in the mileage and the time on your feet, you will improve. At some point, you will. Everyone's different. So it could be 3, could be 6 months, could be even longer. Sometimes you regress. But as long as we keep our consistency going, you will improve. Consistency is key in this whole aspect. And that would be the #1 takeaway from this video. Is be patient, put in the mileage, be consistent, but also listen to your body, because your body's going to tell you when you need to back off, because you don't want to be lured in to this whole, hey, this is just easy, this is slow running, this is great, because your gait will get screwed up and you may end up overtraining, believe it or not, by putting in too many miles. If you want to see results, if you want to see what the numbers looked like for me, I'll take you on a journey. And this video right here will walk you through those numbers. Like I always say,
Get out and run.